Now on GMU at 6, Utah senators react to a second impeachment trial for President Donald Trump, where those lines are drawn.
And the state getting more vaccine doses from Walgreens and CVS. Coming up, who these vaccines will go to.
Utah unveiling a new way to respond to COVID-19. Learn how soon new health centers on wheels are now coming to Salt Lake County.
Plus, get ready for a windy Wednesday. I've shown you our wind speeds and now our wind gusts getting a lot stronger this morning. You're watching GMU at 6 a.m.
Live from Utah's first TV station. Good Morning Utah at 6 starts now.
Good morning, Utah. I'm Brian Carlson.
And I'm Sarah Martin. It is 6 a.m. on this Wednesday. We begin with vaccine news. President Biden announced his administration will increase vaccine distribution across the country from 8.6 million doses to 10 million each week.
This is going to allow millions of more Americans to get vaccinated sooner than previously anticipated. We got a long way to go, though.
Now, Utahns also getting more doses of the vaccine in a new agreement. Walgreens and CVS are redirecting thousands of their doses now to the state. ABC4's Jared Giacchini joins us in studio with why. Jared?
Well, Brian, the governor wants to vaccinate all those in long-term care facilities, but needs more doses, saying this partnership with Walgreens and CVS will help get the job done. The doses will come from long-term care pharmacy partnerships and be distributed to other vaccine providers statewide. Walgreens and CVS have agreed to transfer just over 28,000 doses. This week, the state has received almost 9,000 doses, and the remainder, some 19,000 doses, are scheduled to arrive next week. Doctors saying vaccinating our most vulnerable populations can reduce the number of COVID-related deaths.
The more people we vaccinate, the better we will do. The fewer outbreaks we will see, the sooner we can get back to our way of life.
CVS and Walgreens say this mass transfer of vaccine to the state will not wipe them out completely, both saying there's still enough doses to continue with all scheduled vaccination clinics at long-term care facilities throughout the state. Now, per the agreement, should Walgreens and CVS run out of vaccine, the state will have to give some of those doses back. Now, the CDC approved this transfer. Again, the state plans to have all doses by next week. Coming up next, we'll have more on why the state could now have the issue of receiving too many doses. Brian.
Thank you, Jared. Happening today, the Salt Lake County Health Department is rolling out new mobile health centers. It's expected these health centers will help the county better respond to COVID-19. The county will unveil them today at the Salt Lake County Government Center. That starts this afternoon at 1:30.
Uinta High School is switching up their COVID-19 protocol. They've got at least 19 cases on campus, so the district is implementing the state's test to stay protocol and moving students online for a few days to tackle the surge. All students and staff will go online beginning today. They can come back to campus Monday if they've gotten a negative COVID-19 testing. Free testing is available this week while the school is deep cleaned.
And here's your morning update on COVID-19. Utah had 1,400 new cases yesterday. That brings our state total now to 338,000. So far, 237,000 Utahns have received the vaccine. 552 COVID patients are currently being treated in hospitals across the state, and 17 more Utahns have died for a total of 1,613. You look at our last 7 days, you see our daily case totals popping up. Right now, we're averaging 1,700 new cases a day. That's the green line on your screen. Our testing positivity rate is now 19.1%.
Happening today, Olympic hopefuls for the 2022 Winter Paralympic Games will get the chance to practice right here in Utah. The 3-day Huntsman Cup in Park City lets competitors focus on building their technical skills in ski racing. More than 35 athletes from around the world will participate from countries like Kenya, Chile, Australia, Great Britain, and Japan. Pretty cool. That first race starts this morning at 10. All right, Erica, for those skiers today, what does the weather look like?
Windy. It's very windy. In fact, I think I'm going to go back one graphic here because the wind speeds are pretty interesting. They were a little bit stronger in Salt Lake City a few minutes ago, but let's take a look at our wind gusts. Our future cast is going to show you the system that's moving on and increasing or really affecting the wind profile for today. We're going to go through this the next time we meet up, about 60 hours, and then we do have our wind profile, and then I did in fact follow it by the wind gusts. I was working with it so much very quickly because because I saw this in Elko. 43-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Okay, maybe there's nothing going on too strong in Park City in and of itself, but it's only 6:04 a.m., so give it some time. Those winds are going to ramp up. 36-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Ely, 18 for Cedar City, and 18-mile-per-hour wind gusts here in Salt Lake City. So it is a wild, windy Wednesday in the forecast, and we're also tracking some precip. Additionally, we're tracking some updates on traffic flow. There is an incident, I-15 southbound, a stalled vehicle from Utah 13 to Utah 30, and I was able to find an image of this right now to show you what it looks like. There is a little bit of a delay, or just looks like there's just not much going on. Let's see if it'll pop up eventually. It might populate. Otherwise, just keep in mind that conditions for the most part are going to be slower in that area, so just keep that in mind. Coming up the next time we meet up, we'll go over our extended forecast. We'll talk about what to expect for the rest of this week. Back to you.
All right, thank you much, Erica. The time is 6:05. Unified Police are unveiling a new accident plan to handle car crashes in the Cottonwood Canyons. In a serious crash in Big Cottonwood Canyon on Sunday, 2 cars flew off the road and landed in the creek below. Many drivers gave police feedback when the canyon suddenly closed. Unified Police say moving forward now, unless the car is leaking into the river, the car will be left there until a less busy traffic time so they can remove it. So they're reminding drivers to expect delays during the winter season because both canyons only have one way to get in and one way to get out.
Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall delivered her annual State of the City address last night. The mayor asked her city to use the struggles of this past year as a way to change the future. Mayor Mendenhall says she plans to turn Utah's capital city into a tech hub, naming the project Tech Lake City.
Tech is the fastest growing and highest paying industry in the state of Utah, and we need more of it here in Salt Lake City.
Mayor Mendenhall says she wants to forge a new way forward by creating the city's first innovation department and to make city government more efficient by improving transparency. She also wants to continue the city's efforts toward racial equity and policing. Also new this morning, BYU keeping its police department. According to the Salt Lake Tribune, yesterday state leaders said they'd back down on their push to decertify the BYU Police Department. The state claimed BYU police didn't do a proper internal investigation into a lieutenant who inappropriately accessed police records, then gave them to BYU's Honor Code Office. A judge ruled the law surrounding the situation wasn't clear enough to convict. The state now says they'll no longer appeal the judge's decision to dismiss the case.
And new this morning, a controversial gun bill has passed the House at the Utah State Legislature. The bill would eliminate the requirement to get a permit to carry a concealed weapon. Utah law currently allows people legally able to possess a firearm to openly carry their guns in public. A permit is only required for carrying a concealed firearm. The bill now to remove that permit heads to the Senate for consideration.
State legislators got a closer look at a program helping thousands of Utah women maternal mental health through the Department of Health. Almost half of all Utah expectant and postpartum mothers experience some kind of mental health challenge, and now all health officials in the state are required to have at least one provider trained specifically in maternal mental health. Experts say we've come a long way in Utah, but we have a ways to go in getting moms the help they need.
I would say the one thing I hear the most is a mom said, "I just didn't feel like myself." You don't have to hit rock bottom to get help.
At maternalmentalhealth.utah.gov, women anywhere in the state can now search for a provider by location and even by insurance type. Count on ABC4 News to bring you the latest on the legislative session here on air and online at abc4.com.
And in national news, senators have now been sworn in for the historic second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. The trial is set to start in a week and a half, so each side has time to prepare. While a conviction obviously would not remove Trump from office, it could lead the way to a second vote in the Senate that would prohibit him from holding any federal office in the future. Utah senators responding here, including Utah Senator Mike Lee, saying he is against the conviction, in a statement here saying the result would not only be problematic, but also contrary to the text, structure, and historical understanding of the Constitution.
Utah Senator Mitt Romney joined Democrats contending that impeachment is allowed by the Constitution. According to the Salt Lake Tribune, he released this statement saying, quote, "There's no question, but the president incited that insurrection that occurred. To what degree and so forth is something we're going to evaluate in the trial."
Elected Attorney General here in Utah, Sean Reyes, is facing calls for impeachment. Utah State Representative Andrew Stoddard claims Reyes undermined the 2020 election when he joined a lawsuit to overturn the results in other states. He's now submitted a resolution in our state legislature to get Reyes out. Stoddard says he wants an explanation regardless of what happens with his resolution.
If it sat in House rules, that would be fine with me. I didn't open this with the purpose of, a political stunt or anything like that. I truly just want the investigation and then see where that takes me. And if I feel like there's enough to actually go forward with drafting language for articles of impeachment, I will move forward with them.
If articles of impeachment are drafted, it goes to the House Rules Committee, where it then would have a harder time passing. Now, Reyes has responded about this calls for impeachment in a statement saying, quote, that impeachment is a drastic measure, especially if Representative Stoddard says he is simply looking for answers to his questions. He also defended his participation in the lawsuit challenging election results, which the Supreme Court threw out.
6:10 now, coming up on Good Morning Utah. Robots could soon be working at Walmart. How soon the mechanical